Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Carving It Up Live right here on Facebook Live, YouTube, and on Twitter. My name is Bryson Carver, and this is a good day today because tonight, 3 hours from now, we will tip off Game 1 of the 2022 NBA Finals. As a Warriors fan, of course, repping the two-time MVP, Wardell Stephen Curry II. I'm going to talk about Steph really in the first two topics of the show. I'm going to kind of talk about Steph's legacy in terms of, does he need finals MVP? And I've sort of got a yes-no answer to that I'll explain, and also why he should have long had a finals MVP. We shouldn't even be talking about this today on June the 2nd of 2022. Also, sticking with the Warriors, let's talk about a former Warrior, a great former Warrior, Kevin Durant, who's going back and forth with Draymond Green about Steph and Katie's double teams in the finals and all that. And I've got a sort of a unique take on it that I guess it is somewhat unique because I'm a Warriors fan. So I'll save that for the second topic. And then my man, John Rivera, Pham Perspective Podcast, he will be joining the show in about 30 minutes to talk about the finals as well as the Lakers. Darvin Ham, is he going to fit? Is Westbrook going to stay? John was on this show in October. He was really high on the Lakers. He wasn't the only one. I was not. But then again, hey, he was high on Jason Kidd and I was not. And look how that worked out. So looking forward to having John on the show. He's frequently in the comments. Henny Dre, great podcast. Go check their show out. But John will be joining the show in about 30 minutes. And then at the end of the show, I'll give my prediction for tonight's Game 1 of the 2022 NBA Finals. But first, let's start with Steph Curry, who's really been the most discussed player. I don't even think it's close of this finals. We got plenty of star power. Just in Golden State, you got Steph, Clay, Draymond. Even you could sprinkle in a little bit of Jordan Poole and Andrew Wiggins there. And then up in Boston, you got Jayson Tatum, who I believe is without a question, he's established himself as a top 10 player in this league. He is a superstar, and he's only 24, which is scary for the rest of the NBA. Jaylen Brown, all-star player. You got obviously Marcus Smart, Defensive Player of the Year. You got key contributors like Al Horford and Grant Williams. I mean, you got some key contributors there. Robert Williams, who's going to be huge in this series, I think, if Boston wants any chance at winning this thing. But Steph's been the most discussed player without a question. And it's because, number one, he's the best player in this series. But number two, even more importantly, he didn't have a finals MVP yet. 6th finals appearance. He has a 3-2 record in his previous 5 appearances on this stage from 2015 to 2019. And that's been the thing. Why doesn't Steph have a finals MVP? And is he going to get one this year? Well, now Vegas has him as the betting favorite to win, partly because they have Golden State as the favorite to win the title. And Steph right now is the favorite, slightly ahead of Jayson Tatum to win finals MVP. But before I kind of go into why he should have one by now, let me talk about sort of what it's going to mean for his legacy. Is it going to add anything if he wins? Is it going to subtract anything if he doesn't? Let me start with the latter. If Steph Curry and the Golden State Warriors win the finals this go-around this June, which I believe they will, and Steph does not win finals MVP, let's say it goes to, if it's not Steph, my first pick would probably be Draymond Green. Let's say Draymond Green wins finals MVP. Hurt Steph's legacy. He's got 4 rings now. He would join a pretty elite group of guys that have 4 championships, right? 2 scoring titles and 2 MVPs. Like, we're talking like Kareem. I mean, this is a very, very exclusive club that Steph would join. And so it's not going to subtract jack from Steph's legacy if he does not win a finals MVP in this series. If he wins one, it's going to do wonders, because what it's going to do is it's going to vault him from just he's outside the clubhouse right now, right? He's peeking in the clubhouse, right? To me, I think getting to the finals, getting to number 6, we know what that means. Kareem, Michael, LeBron, Magic, like those guys have been to 6 finals. Steph joins that group. I think that moves Steph past Hakeem for the 11th greatest player ever. To me, a finals MVP would shoot Steph up, not just in the top 10, but I think around 7 or 8. Like he would go past a few guys, Will or Shaq, maybe even Larry Bird. I've always said Bill Russell's always going to occupy a spot in the top 10 because the man's got 11 rings. Bill Russell's always going to be in my top 10. There's nothing y'all can do about it. But That's what it would do for Steph's career, right? Because you're talking about 4 championships, 2 scoring titles, 2 MVPs. Oh, yeah, one of those MVPs was unanimous. That's never been done before. Change the game of basketball, and you got a finals MVP as a cherry on top. He doesn't need it to solidify himself as a great player. He did that a long time ago. But to cement himself as a top 10 player of all time, he does need a finals MVP in my view. Now, does a championship finals MVP, I've heard some fans, Warriors fans in particular, saying, oh, this vaults him above Magic as the greatest point guard ever. I'm not going there yet. Magic's got, 5 titles, so Steph would still be one short in terms of just championships. You're talking about how many MVPs Magic got? 3. Steph would need another MVP too, and certainly we know he's capable of doing that. He's still in his prime probably for another good 2-3 years. And so that's what's going to come down to. Steph doesn't win a finals MVP, which I can't really imagine if the Warriors want to win the series. But if he doesn't win and the Warriors win the title, you think Steph's going to be sulking in the corner? No, he's going to be popping champagne like the rest of them in the locker room. He's going to be thrilled. After the way these last 3 years have went for my Golden State Warriors with the injuries and obviously everybody deal with COVID and just everything that has gone on and everybody saying the dynasty's over and this and that. Steph's going to be thrilled. He ain't going to be thinking about, oh, God, man, I didn't get a finals MVP. This sucks. No, he's going to be thrilled. You think Steph would want to find it? You think he'd want to pull a Jerry West and get the finals MVP, but in a losing effort? No. So that's, you don't have to worry about that. But let me go into sort of the bigger picture, because that's kind of the here and now, but the bigger picture in terms of why Steph, to me, not only should have 1 finals MVP, folks, I think he should have 2 finals MVPs. Because one thing, it kind of goes back to this narrative that has persisted in part because Steph doesn't have a finals MVP that, doesn't show up in the playoffs, doesn't show up in the finals. Well, in terms of the playoffs, I don't know how you can say that. Steph Curry has a career playoff record, or series record of 21-4. That's better than Michael, LeBron, Kareem, Larry, and Magic. 21-4. He was the first player to lead his team to 5 straight finals. His team, not, talking about with one team, because LeBron obviously did 8 straight times, which is crazy. But the first player to lead his team to 5 straight finals since Bill Russell in the 60s. That should count for something, right? 6 appearances in 8 years. That's only been done by a handful of great players. And something else, too, that I think is really interesting. This notion that Steph doesn't play up to par. Well, actually, when you look at his career numbers, his career regular season numbers to his finals numbers, he's played 28 NBA Finals games. His numbers actually improve in the finals. Here you go. Steph Curry in the regular season averages about 24 points, 6 assists, and 5 rebounds a game. It's pretty good. It's very good, actually. In the finals, his points per game goes up from 24 to 26. His assists stay about the same per game. They drop to about 0.3, but about the same. Rebounds go from 4.6 to 5.7. So I'm confused. What is it? Steph doesn't elevate his game to the finals. You always hear me talk about in this show, like there's 3 levels of what superstar players do in the playoffs. They either decrease in production, like James Harden. They stay kind of steady, like a Kevin Durant, for example, or they elevate like Michael or LeBron. That's what Steph does. Look at his regular season numbers and his postseason number, his finals numbers. It actually goes up. Efficiency goes down, but most great players who get to the finals, their efficiency does go down. Why is that? Because their team, they want the best player to take more shots. All right, this is why LeBron in these finals games is taking darn near 40 shots. He's not going to do that in a regular season game in February. The games mean more. We know that. So, you don't want the third guy off the bench to be taking these shots. You want the best player, regardless of how tired he is, to be taking these shots. So that's why the efficiency is always going to go down. Like, I don't know if has a player ever gone 50, 40, 90 in the finals? I think we've only had like 4 or 5 guys ever do it in the regular season. So I don't know about the finals. So at least playing high minutes at the very least and being the premier scorer. And so you have that aspect to it. But, 2015, great year, right? First title in the Golden State in 4 decades. First Warriors championship since 1975 when Rick Barry led the Golden State Warriors, coached by Al Attles. It was a great basketball team to the NBA title over the Washington Bullets. 40 years later, the Warriors do it in 2015, and the Finals MVP is Andre Iguodala. Andre Iguodala is the Finals MVP.
I want Iguodala.
Love him. Love Iguodala. This is one of my favorite all-time Warriors. Anybody who followed me on social media this past summer, so I was begging Iguodala to come back to Golden State. But Andre Iguodala in the 2015 NBA Finals, here were his numbers. 16 points per game, 4 assists, 6 rebounds. Okay, that's it goes up from his regular season scoring average, at least in Golden State. Like, he scored 16. Andre Iguodala, even before now, until when he's at his prime. Back in 2015, if Andre Iguodala gave you 16, you're thrilled. So the fact that he averaged it for a series, highly impressive. But the narrative was, when Steve Kerr inserted Andre Iguodala into the starting lineup in Game 4, Golden State trailed 2-1 in that series, right? So it was kind of desperate times, called for desperate measures. Iguodala hadn't started a game all season. Steve Kerr says, all right, I'm going to put you in the starting lineup. And Iguodala played great. Gave him a great impact. And the Warriors went on to win all 3 games, 4, 5, and 6, to win the championship. But the narrative was, Iguodala stopped LeBron. Like, LeBron just went crazy the first 3 games of the series, and Iguodala shut him down. LeBron James averaged 36 points, 13 rebounds, 9 assists for the Finals. That's shutting him down? Imagine if Iguodala wasn't on LeBron. He'd average like 50. That shutting him down? Average a darn near 36-point triple-double. Shut him down. Meanwhile, Steph Curry in the Finals averaged 26, 5, and 6. As a matter of fact, that MVP season, that was Steph's first regular season MVP season, Steph averaged about 23, 24 points a game. His scoring went up in the Finals. As a matter of fact, Steph Curry, of course, led the Warriors in scoring with 26 points a game. Second place was Andre Iguodala. The Finals MVP is what I hear, with 16. So Steph was the leading scorer on the Warriors by 10 points. So far and away the best offensive player. Klay, love Klay. Game 6 Klay. Had a horrible series. Draymond really wasn't an offensive threat. It was Steph, especially in that Game 5. Go back and watch Game 5 of that series when Steph scored 37 and took over the fourth quarter of that game in what was a 2-2 series, what was kind of a teeter-totter game. Steph took over that game and scored 37. In the closeout, I believe he scored 25, 26 points, so right at his average to help them win the championship. Yet it was Andre Iguodala who won Finals MVP because he held LeBron to 36, 13, and 9. Okay. And then 2017 rolls around, right? The second Warriors championship season. Kevin Durant wins Finals MVP, and he should have. That's the greatest basketball I've ever seen Kevin Durant play in his life. Maybe not his life, in his NBA career. What he averaged, 35 in the series? I mean, unstoppable. Obviously hit the biggest shot in the series in Game 3 over LeBron, the game-winning shot. Warriors won the championship in 5 games. But let's not act like Steph played poorly in that NBA Finals. You look at Steph's numbers from that NBA Finals in 2017. He averaged 27, 5, and 8. It's pretty good, right? So Steph played well in that 2017 Finals, okay? And then 2018 rolls around. And this sort of transitions me into my second topic. Before we talk about 2018, in which KD won a second Finals MVP. Played great, by the way, but I don't think he deserved it. But KD and Draymond were kind of going back and forth on Twitter. Now, KD and Draymond, everybody knows about their blow-up against the Clippers in 2018. A lot of people think that's why KD left Golden State. I think it was just a straw that broke the camel's back. I think KD was leaving anyway, but that was kind of what sealed it. There was a nail in the coffin. But since then, they're cool now. They won a gold medal together this past Olympics. Great. They're on good terms, which is, a good thing. But Draymond Green was on the Colin Cowherd podcast, and Draymond was talking about, how how Steph got double teamed 7 times more than here's the quote. Steph Curry got double teamed probably 7 times the amount that KD did in a given series. So when you watch those games and you say, his numbers could be a little down, he's facing a double team. Well, KD didn't like this because someone sent it to KD, and KD retweeted and said, quote, "From my view, this is 100% false." Draymond retweets, "You have to learn to listen to full takes and not snippets before you get baited into tweeting, champ." KD retweets and responds, "Oh, I see it, my brethren. I appreciate the compliments, but I disagree with what you said about double teams. That's all. I love the show." Okay, so, some good nature going back and forth. This is nothing serious. But actually, KD's tweet where he said, "From my view of it," talking about Steph getting double teamed 7 times more than KD. KD's tweet, "From my view of it, this is 100% false." Actually, KD's right, and Draymond's wrong. KD's absolutely right. It was wrong. He got double teamed 40 times more than Kevin Durant. Not 7, 40. So Draymond way undersold it. Don't believe me? Steph Curry double teams in the finals in 2018. KD double teams in the 2018 finals. Steph was double teamed 80 times. KD was double teamed twice. Yet, you want to know who the leading scorers in the 4 games were? Oh. Leading scorer in game 1, Steph. Leading scorer in game 2, Steph. Leading scorer in game 3, Kevin. Leading scorer in game 4, Steph. Yet it was Kevin Durant who won the finals MVP. Just because he averaged more points? Just because KD had one great game and Steph had in that same game was played horrible? Played clutch down the stretch, but over the game, course of the game was horrible. That's it. One game decides it. Even though Steph outplayed KD the other 3. So what are we doing here? And if you don't believe me, well, the Cavs paid closer attention to Steph than they did Kevin Durant. How about the former head coach of the Cavs? The guy, Ty Lue knows more basketball than me, knows more basketball than you. I mean, he is an NBA coach and played in the league. This was Ty Lue's explanation for, about the finals and who they feared more. This is just from this February.
Try to hit him as much as possible. Like I said, when you deal with a 2-time MVP and someone I have great respect for, you just got to try to keep him involved, just keep him national try to run him down. You got to remember in 2017 and 2018, we blitzed him still with Klay Thompson and Kevin Durant before. So that's how dangerous I think he is.
Don't believe me? Ask Ty Lue. He coached in the finals. Ty Lue told you who the more valuable player in that series was. Ty Lue told you who the Cavs feared more. As a matter of fact, there was a guy with NBC Sports. Forgot his name. I hate that because he deserves credit for this. But there was a guy for NBC Sports that rewatched the entire 2017 finals, all 5 games. And he was talking about how so many of Kevin Durant's shots came because teams were focusing on Steph. Like you'd see Steph and KD would run, a ball screen pick and roll. And J.R. Smith would be guarding Steph and LeBron would come to Steph as well. And KD would throw a quick pass to Kevin and he's got a one-on-one with Kyle Korver. Well, Kevin Durant's going to beat Kyle Korver every time. Easy shot. Now, obviously, I'm not saying every shot Kevin Durant took and made was via a double team from Steph, of course, but a lot of them were. When he's in Brooklyn now talking about Kevin Durant and he doesn't have Steph to draw the double teams in, shots are harder to come by. Now, he's still great. He's still, I've said religiously on the show, he's the most gifted scorer I've ever seen in my life. He's still going to score. But it was a whole lot easier when you had the babyface assassin as a teammate. My man, oh, stop it, Barry. Barry's such a jerk, I hate this guy. He says, "Your team's in the finals. That beard is not acceptable, LOL. Clean it up." Great show so far, my man. Hey, this is a playoff beard, Barry, so it's gone after the playoffs. Don't worry about it. It's gone after the playoffs. Appreciate it, though. Appreciate it. I don't know what Barry's going to do. He said in his show that he doesn't know who to root for, Celtics, Warriors. Obviously, being a Lakers fan. And don't worry, Barry, we're going to talk about the Lakers with John, who's going to be on the show in about 10 minutes. But yeah, this is not, this is not a good finals for Laker Nation whatsoever. But that's sort of when we talk about false narratives, that's what bothers me. This notion that Steph doesn't play well in the finals or doesn't even elevate his game to the finals. He's had one bad NBA finals. Now, given it was bad. It was 2016. I tried to, I think even Steph and KD both said this. They tried to like erase 2016 from memory. Obviously, KD because he blew a 3-1 lead to Steph, and Steph because he blew a 3-1 lead to LeBron, right? But you look at Steph's numbers in his previous 5 finals appearances. 2015, when he should have won finals MVP over Iguodala, definitely. He averaged 26, 6, and 5. Okay. 2016, this is the stain. Absolutely. 23, 3, and 5. 23, 4, and 5. That's not going to work, especially you can't play that poorly in the finals, blow a 3-1 lead in the finals, which had never been done before. Don't remind me, please. But Steph Curry, in that series, especially in Game 7, was abysmal. I think in Game 7, he went like 4 for 14 from 3, like 1 for 6 in the fourth quarter. Like he had a terrible game in Game 7, the game. It was a game where in the last 4 minutes, of the game, both teams went scoreless until, of course, Kyrie hit the iconic shot over Steph that pretty much, put that thing to bed. And of course, before that, LeBron had the block on Iguodala. All the while, Steph can't buy a shot. As a matter of fact, one of Steph's shots hit the backboard. It didn't even hit the rim. Horrible Game 7, horrible 2016 finals. Not even going to try and defend it. Okay? But 2017, I already mentioned, he averaged 27, 5, and 8. 2018, he averaged 27, 6, and 6. 26, 7, and 6. And then 2019, he averaged 35 and 5. Like that, and like there's also notion because Steph and the Warriors lost in 2019 that he came up small. Why? Because he missed one shot at the end of Game 6 in a game they had no business in. KD had already gotten hurt. Klay in the third quarter of that game tore his ACL. We remember that. Iguodala is literally falling apart. His knees are just killing him. Looney had to be benched in the fourth quarter because his shoulders were hurting so bad. He like broke a bone in there or something. He's playing at like 40%. Boogie Cousins is like playing at 60% because he torn his quad in the playoffs. I mean, I've never seen a finals like 2019 where one team just completely falls apart. Literally. I mean, Kevin goes down. Klay goes. I mean, if you took the 96 Chicago Bulls, the teams that everybody claims is the greatest ever, which I think is baloney, but the 96 Bulls, okay, take away Scottie Pippen, Dennis Rodman, Steve Kerr, like take away all those guys. All right, good luck against those Seattle Supersonics. Good luck. Take those guys away in 97 or 98 against the Jazz, they definitely lose. No question. I know Michael is like second to God in some people's eyes, but they're not winning that finals. I'm of the belief that Steph didn't even need KD to win that 2019 finals. If Klay we know this. If Klay doesn't tear his ACL in Game 6, it's going to a Game 7. Because Toronto almost lost even when Klay went down. And I'm of the belief that in Game 7, Golden State was down 3-1 in that series. Going to Toronto, outside of Kawhi, because we know he doesn't feel emotion apparently, everybody else in that Raptors team would have been real tight. And Golden State's like, man, we're playing with house money. No, we weren't supposed to be here. I believe they would have won that series. Maybe they wouldn't have. Who knows? But they certainly would have had a better shot if Klay was healthy. So, but this, I don't like the notion that Steph doesn't play well in the finals. It's flat out not true. Again, I will show you once again. Regular season numbers, finals numbers. Again, sorry for the podcast audience. I'll read it for you guys. Points per game goes from 24 to 26. Assists, about the same. They're both about 6 assists per game. Rebounds go from 5 to 6. So, stop. And it goes to. Again, I hear a lot of folks saying that in the media, again, this is why I hate false narratives, in the media that Steph needed KD to win those championships. Does KD have any championships without Steph? I don't know. He leaves OKC probably. Let's say KD leaves OKC and goes to Boston. I'm not sure he would have even beaten Cleveland with LeBron, Kyrie, and Love. So let's stop it with these constant false narratives. I mean, here's something too. We talk about LeBron as a great performer in the finals, and he is. But this right here says most career points in the fourth quarter during the playoffs. LeBron in his career has 738 fourth quarter points in his career in the playoffs. Steph has 700. So there's a chance he passes him in the finals this year. Certainly a good chance. Something else. Players to average 25 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists a game in their career in the finals. The list goes LeBron, Kobe, Michael, Jerry West, Steph. I thought he choked in the finals. I thought he's not good in the finals. He's not good in the playoffs. One last one I'll read off to you. Over the last 35 finals, only 3 players have not won finals MVP despite averaging 26 points per game. Kobe Bryant, Kyrie Irving, Steph Curry. Here's the difference. Kobe had Shaq. Kyrie had LeBron. Now you could say Steph had KD. KD ain't Shaq, and KD dang sure ain't LeBron. So, and Steph even averaged that in the 2015 finals when KD wasn't there. His second best player in that series was Iguodala. But Iguodala won the finals MVP? I don't know. I'm just saying. Explain it. I don't get it. I don't get it for the life of me. But, I mean, look. This is going to be, I think, an entertaining series. Again, I already predicted on Monday's show, and I uploaded my prediction to YouTube that I think this thing is over in 5 because the fact I think Golden State, I don't want to spoil my pick, but I think Golden State takes care of home court. They have yet to lose at home in the entire playoffs. They're 9-0. Boston struggles at home. They're, I think, a game over 500 in the playoffs at home. They went 2-2 at home against Milwaukee in the second round and 1-2 at home against Miami in the Eastern Conference Finals. And something else, too, I forgot to bring up on Monday's show. I'm remembering now. Boston just finished a series against Miami, who has one of the worst half-court offenses in basketball. Boston's going from that to one of the greatest half-court offenses of all time. Because you're talking ball movement. Obviously, it all starts with Steph and Draymond. Draymond's phenomenal IQ, getting Steph, Clay, Poole, even Wiggins at times, good looks, occasionally Kevon Looney at the rim. And then obviously Steph with his constant movement without the basketball. You ask any defender in the NBA who they'd rather guard, Steph or KD, they'd say KD. And KD's probably going to get more points than Steph because he's a better scorer. But Steph's hard to guard because you're just chasing him everywhere. KD's not going to wear you down. He may frustrate you because you're doing everything possible and he still can't miss. But Steph, on the other hand, his points are demoralizing. Obviously, we know KD can shoot the 3, of course. But these deep threes by Steph, or the and ones and the shimmies and this and that and the mouthpiece, and it frustrates you. It gets your head a little bit. It's a little, in a different way, it's a little Jordan-esque. Right? Jordan wore you down with this just relentlessness. Steph is relentless in his, again, movement without the basketball. And the fact that, like Michael, like I think LeBron, Kobe, like the great players in this league, Steph doesn't get rattled. Like, if he goes 5 for 22, he's going to take the next shot with the expectation that it's going in. So, but again, I already showed you, he averages 26 points in the finals in his career. In the finals, that 26.5 points per game average, that's more than these players. Tell me if you've heard of them before. Dr. J, Kobe, Dirk, Dwayne Wade, Moses Malone, Kareem, Bird, Duncan, Magic, Pippen, Wilt. A few of those guys are, to me, are top 10 players. Kobe's top 10, Kareem, absolutely. Bird, Duncan, Magic, no question. I mean, Pippen's the greatest, one of the greatest Robins ever to a Batman. Wilt, some still think is the greatest scorer of all time. Steph's got a higher points per game average in the finals than he does, than Wilt. Kobe, the second coming of Michael Jordan, literally. His game mirrored him. Steph's got a higher average in the finals than Kobe. Dr. J and Moses Malone, one of the greatest duos of all time. Steph's got a higher average in the finals than those two. Kareem, all-time leading scorer. Steph's got a higher average than Kareem. So I'm just saying, if we're going to talk about, if we're going to talk about performing or underperforming in the postseason, let's revisit that Steph question another time, because we know he gets it done when it's all said and done. All right. So time for my next guest. He is the host of the Pham Perspective, I should say co-host, one half of the Pham Perspective podcast. He is John Rivera, joining Carving It Up Live. My man, how you doing?
Hey. I'm good, man. You?
Oh, I'm doing great. This is
Oh,
very.
I already know you're doing good over there.
Hey, listen. I gotta rep on this show. I appreciate you coming on. I appreciate the constant support of the show. So sort of piggybacking off of what I was talking about. Steph in the finals, and what? Let me go to what I visited earlier in the show. A finals MVP. Do you think winning it adds to his career? Do you think not winning it this year, should the Warriors win this finals, I don't know, decreases what you think of him in terms of his overall legacy?
Yeah, I think if he has a good game, if he has a good series, it adds to his legacy. But if he has a bad series, I don't think it does nothing to him. I think Steph's just at a level that he's like you said. I don't think he's top 10 yet, but he's definitely getting there. Like, he's around 15 maybe for me. My list is probably a little different than yours. I got you by a few years and stuff like that. But yeah, so I think if he has a great series, absolutely, it skyrockets him a little higher, especially if he dominates. You know what I mean? And because as you pointed out, like, his numbers are crazy. Like he's doing his thing in the championships. It's just other people are getting the awards. So
yeah, and that's always what I always push back against, the notion that that Steph needed KD, not or more than the other way around. And my notion was Steph built the culture in Golden State. KD benefited greatly from it. I think KD played his best basketball in Golden State. And one could certainly argue he was probably the best player on those two title teams in 17 and 18.
Right.
But just in terms of the overall impact, just of the team, the locker room, and on the court, in terms of how you got to guard him and how the game just shifts and is a different ball game when he's on the floor. But
no, that's like I said, yeah, definitely, yeah. Steph, he changed everything. He is Golden State. Like, now that you think of Golden State, you think of Steph Curry. You know what I mean? Like I said, he changed the game as far as pulling up, like Jimmy the other night, pulling up when he could have went for a layup. Pulling up for a three. So definitely, yeah. Steph will get probably a statue like this first year after he retired. Like, they're not gonna wait that long. You know what I mean? Maybe even like when he says like, "Oh, this is my third world tour." Like, by the end of the year, they're gonna have a statue out there. So definitely shout out to Steph, though, for real.
It's kind of like how they did in Dallas, where they put Dirk's fadeaway right like on the baseline, the little I don't know, logo right there. They'll do something like that, maybe like a logo of Steph shooting a three from like 35 feet on the court at Chase Center. But you're talking about Kevin Durant. Do you think I think this can't be a great series for Kyrie Irving or Kevin Durant. It's one of the greatest ironies in NBA history that the two teams they leave, those two guys were going to go win a championship together, but the two teams they leave are who meets in the finals. It almost feels like Kyrie would be rooting for Golden State and Kevin Durant would be rooting for Boston because they don't necessarily want to look bad when it's all said and done. Do you think I'm not going to talk about legacy, but do you think it does sort of not look great for those two, considering how it all went down when they left to go to Brooklyn?
Nah, I think just because them two teams are in the finals, they're talking about it. You know what I mean? I think their legacies are what their legacies already are going to be. You know what I mean? Team, players that, well, obviously KD won his, but Kyrie's going to be Kyrie. So it's like this doesn't really play a factor. You got to think also, Boston courted Kevin Durant, that 1 year, you know what I mean? Before he came to Golden State. So it could have went either way. But as far as like their legacy and stuff like that, like I don't think it's nothing to do with that. It's just a good storyline to add to the storyline of the NBA Finals. They're gonna dig out everything, you know what I mean? But yeah, I think they're they still adding to their story, man, because Brooklyn isn't looking that great, like far as even keeping one of them. Like they're they kind of shopping Kyrie a little bit, but not saying they are. They're wearing their options, and KD is always gonna be KD. Like he'll let his Twitter talk before he talks. You know what I mean? He just
That's
sits
a
back
fact.
and do that.
Man, he's going to everybody. He's going to Stephen A. and Shannon Sharp and Skip. Like, man, he's
Right,
chilling
right.
with. Hey, listen, Katie's chilling with Letterman right now. He's probably not that worried. But let's shift to the southern part of California. We're talking about the Los Angeles Lakers. They hired Darvin Ham to be their new head coach last week. I like the hire. Certainly of the three candidates, I think he's best suited for what they want to do. Kenny Atkinson's a great developmental coach. That's the last thing the Lakers need right now. I think it's a good hire. But I said on Monday, I don't think it puts them any closer to winning a championship because you still have the Westbrook factor and the lack of depth and lack of assets. So, what's your sort of reaction to Darvin Ham getting the Lakers job? And, what do you think they need to do this offseason in order to put themselves back in the title contention?
Yeah, I think that was a great pickup. You know what I mean? He's definitely been, he's not a Steve Nash or even like Jason Kidd, not throwing no shots, but like they both kind of came on. Well, Jason Kidd literally came from the NBA to coaching the following year. You know what I mean? So
right.
At least Ham, you got to think on the court, like he was a hustle player. And then, he's been an assistant for a long time. He got to coach Giannis over there and great players. So I think that's great for the Lakers as far as future wise. Right now wise, it's like if they don't do this, if they don't do good, guess what? Oh, Darvin Ham is a rookie head coach. You know what I mean? AD is still banged up. You know what I mean? So it's a little scapegoat as well as far as giving the Lakers a little more of a leeway. Because like I said, he's a rookie coach and stuff like that. But I love the hire. It's funny that I know on your show you was talking about Snyder in Utah and why would he leave, and now look, there's reports that Snyder might be on the way out, over there in Utah. So they're not working some type of contract out. So, but that would have been good for the Lakers. But like I said, Ham is, like I said, I think he's a good up and coming coach. I think he'll do good in LA. And as far as LA itself, they just gotta, like I preach. I mean, health is everything for any team. You know what I mean? You can preach that to Brooklyn, even to your Golden State Warriors. Like, Steph and Draymond and Clay been out almost 2 years, and y'all got second pick overall, and then like the third pick overall. So that kind of helped y'all
absolutely
for the future as well. You know what I mean? So it's a gift. It was a gift and a curse for you guys. Like, your guys wasn't competing, but come on, you end up with Kuminga and Wiseman. Like, that's just set up for the future, man. Like, that's just crazy. Like how y'all just did that. You know what I mean? And so I salute to y'all for that. But as far as the Lakers, like I said, they just got to retool, man. Just retool. Try to do some cap, get with the other team in LA, get with that GM and do some capology out there and, try to fit some younger players over there. Because as far as veterans, they tried it. They tried that this year, you know what I mean? And that didn't work. Keep Melo, like I said, Melo did good. I think he averaged, like 12 points coming off the bench.
He filled his role.
Yeah, so he played his role.
I think they definitely bring Malik Monk back. Absolutely.
Yeah. Monk caught fire, and then he kind of slowed down a little bit towards the end of the year. But I think you definitely got to bring him back, especially when he's under your team. You're able to, sign him for, a little bit more, because last year you got to think nobody really wanted to sign him, and he signed for the bare minimum in LA. And everybody, I looked at it, I was like, I was a steal for LA, and obviously he ended up working out over there. So I think, like I said, just do a couple little more pickups. You got to think, Nunn didn't play this year. You know what I mean? Like he was another pickup, man, that I loved because, he did good in the Heat, and he didn't play all season. We was like, oh, he's gonna be back in January, and then little by little, he just didn't play.
Yeah.
So it's kind of crazy with that one, but yeah, like I said, just health and add 1 or 2 pieces, and as long as you got I changed his name today to Billy. As long as you got Billy on your team,
it's true.
Man,
Yep.
As long as you got Billy on your team, man, I definitely don't put nothing past them, man. Like I said, if they'd have got an 8th seed, man, who knows? You know what I mean? Especially with this playoffs being wild like this, and Phoenix going out, and Dallas making a run. You know what I mean? Memphis, pushing y'all without Ja Morant. So I think, like I said, you can't count Billy out. So yeah, like I said, a few additions, transition to the coach, and I think Lakers would be all right. Championship wise, nah, I won't put them championship. I was more on them this year. But now it's the unknown. Like you see what they kind of got and what they kind of cooking with, and unless they want to give up another first-round draft pick to unload Westbrook, it's not going to happen. You know what I mean? At least not this year. He got 1 year left, and like I said, they don't want to give up a first-round draft pick, and I can respect that. Because they've been doing it. They gave it out for Westbrook. You know what I mean? And in return, So they're trying to look for the future. Because like I said, Billy ain't gonna play for too longer. At least I'm giving him like 4 years. Like Billy still got like 4 years, strong years, man. Because he just is on a different level. But yeah, like I said, just get a little healthier. I think like I said, it's a gift and a curse. Just like the other year when they missed the playoffs, when LeBron was hurt and they had Lonzo and all them, and they came back.
Yeah.
And they won it, right? Yeah, and they won it. So, without being in the playoffs, LeBron could rest. You know what I mean, and go from there, man. So just retooling, and sky's the limit though. But as far as picking them right now, it's too early to kind of pick them where they're gonna be. But yeah, definitely.
Oh, sure. And obviously, you talk about the rest for LeBron. I think the difference between 2019 and 2022 with the Lakers is, you mentioned Lonzo and BI. You had a ton of assets that you could use to go get a guy like Anthony Davis. They don't really have that now. I think, what was it, 9 guys from this team are free agents? So they don't really have much to work with. And again, I go back to the Westbrook factor. I heard somebody theorize, let's say you play Westbrook the first 2 months, you assume it's similar to how last season went. I'd eat the money and release him because nobody's going to take him at that point. There was a suggestion about possibly trading him to Indiana for Malcolm Brogdon and Buddy Hield. I'd be good with that. They wish.
Lakers wish they can get that trade.
Oh gosh, you kidding me?
They wish because Brogdon when he's healthy. That's why he's a problem when he's healthy. And Buddy Hield, they could have had Buddy Hield last year, so they'll make that trade in a heartbeat, man.
Oh yeah,
Indiana maybe want to do that because they made that trade last year, and they kind of retooling as well. They got to pay what's the big man name over there?
Miles Turner.
Yeah, they got to pay Turner because they basically picked him over Sabonis. So
right,
yeah, I can see something like that in Westbrook in his final year. So never know, but like you said, it depends on how the Lakers start, man. They start rocky, then then they talk it. But if they starting good, this is what we supposed to get last year. And, once you got LeBron and you got the Lakers, it goes from 0 to 100 like in a week, and they can go the opposite, and they can go opposite as we saw this year in a week. You know what I mean? They go on a 4-game losing streak. It's like, LeBron is terrible, and everything. So.
Hey, listen, by the way, shout out LeBron, first active NBA player to become a billionaire. That's what he called Billy. Hey, shout out, man, that's awesome. But I mean, looking at the Western Conference, and we can move on from the Lakers, but I talked about this the other day. You're talking about, okay, let's think about the surefire playoff teams next year. You're talking about obviously Golden State, Memphis, Dallas, Denver's going to get Jamal Murray back and probably Michael Porter Jr. back. So that's, what's that, 5 or 5? Phoenix is going to be back in the playoffs, assuming they keep everybody, probably get the same result in the playoffs, but they'll be back, in that stage. Clippers getting Kawhi and PG back. So that's, what is that, 6? So now we're talking play-in now.
Right.
And so you're talking at this point, Lakers, I really like New Orleans next season. I think, well, I'll talk about New Orleans next week, but New Orleans is a team you don't want to mess with. I don't know. It's looking like that's, I think they definitely get in the play-in tournament for sure, but I can't get on them, not even yet as a playoff team. Again, we got to see how the offseason plays out and free agency, certainly, but
they got they like, you got to think, like I said, if they're healthy, like you said, you got to think they got, let's see, because people stepped up now. So I would say 2 of the top 10 players when healthy, like AD and LeBron.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That's like KD and Kyrie. Like, they're going to make the playoffs. It just, see if they can, do it all by themselves. So, as far as that aspect, you look at that and all the upcoming teams, like I said, I love New Orleans, and they see what they do with Zion. I think they should just flip them, man, and get the house for him.
I agree with you.
And just get the house for him, man, because you got to think, also you got to pay people too, but just get the house for him. Get some first-round picks, man. Maybe, who got first-round pick this year?
First overall pick?
Detroit?
I think Orlando got the first pick.
Orlando. Take them for a first round. Like, for real, like, do stuff like that to, you know what I mean? Because they're already there, man. They're already there. And you got to think, after this year, they're going to have to pay them. So you're going to pay for a player that you're not unsure and hasn't been on the court. You know what I mean? It's not a trust your process type of thing with Embiid where your team sucks and you saw potential. And now you're going to pay them because your team sucks. And you have to keep a player like that. You know what I mean? Now, New Orleans, BI and all of them, and like I said, McCullough with that veteran leadership and all them other guys coming up, get rid of them, man. I'll say get rid of them, man. Why his stock is still high, man? You know what I mean? They already. That's why that report came out that he'll be clear for next year. That's just to draw the trade value up, man. That's to draw the trade value up. So.
I mean, the guy's played what I think I saw was like 38% of his possible games, so he's not available. We know he's not done a good job keeping himself in shape. And I don't think that Brandon Ingram and Zion fit well together. You look at Brandon Ingram made the All-Star game in 2020. That was before Zion came back. Last year, BI sort of took a step back a little. This year, Zion's out for the whole year, and Brandon Ingram looks like a top 10 scorer. Yeah, and he's still getting better. I mean, what is he, 25? I mean, he's only getting better. I totally agree with you. I would move Zion, get picks, maybe get a nice veteran here or there, and go from there. I'm totally with you. I agree.
I would trade him in a heartbeat, man.
Easy.
At the beginning of the season, I would have been not said it at all, but right now, I gotta get rid of him.
I agree. Now back to the finals for a second. I think this is without a question the most interesting matchup, and that's the two-time MVP and Steph Curry versus this year's Defensive Player of the Year, Marcus Smart. Obviously, everybody knows about the play in the March game. Thanks to Marcus Smart, I did not get to see Steph play a week and a half later against Atlanta, but that's another story for another day. But right. I think it's a really interesting matchup because Steph, I think the first game they played against Boston, he went for 30, but it was a pretty inefficient 30. He was like 8 for 21, something like that. And so how do you think that matchup works out? Do you think they're going to leave Marcus, one-on-one in him a lot, or do you think they're going to, throw a lot of guys on him? Brown, who's Derek White? Like, do you think they're going to kind of work with that, or just go, Smart, Steph, the whole finals?
First, I wanted to go back to what you were saying before when Iguodala won the NBA MVP in the finals. Mm-hmm. That was another year that the losing team player should have won MVP finals. Just to put that out there, LeBron should have won that, especially if you're not going to give it to Steph. Like you said, you put up 35, 7, and 7. Come on.
No, it was like 36, 13, and 9. He almost averaged a triple-double.
Come on.
And he dragged a bad Cavs team.
Come on.
You can make that argument.
Come on, brother. But, all right, so, alluding to this, like I said, I think what I said on our show was, like, I think Curry is just one of them players that he's going to get his numbers. Like you said, It might not be efficient. Like Smart might slow him up and bang him up and make shots a little tougher, but Curry's kind of the king of making kind of tough shots. You know what I mean? Like all his shots be kind of tough, or like I said, it's from long range, but he make it look easy. So I think he'll slow him down. It depends on foul trouble. Like Smart getting a little foul trouble, then obviously they'll throw White on him just to tire him out a little bit, then put Smart back on him. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then go from there. So like I said, it's going to be definitely a good matchup. Like I said, Defensive Player of the Year versus, one of the best offensive players, of all time. So it's definitely going to be good. Like I said, you only can slow him down. You only can slow him down, man. You ain't containing them, man. That's all I can say.
Yeah, that's it. And I almost wonder, I was talking about Ty Lue's strategy in guarding Steph as opposed to guarding KD in 2018 and even in 2017. Do you think maybe that they use Ime Udoka uses that strategy because Kevin Durant's not walking in that door? Do you think he says, hey, Klay's still not 100%? Wiggins, do you trust him to give you 20, 25 points any given night? Do we make Draymond score? Do you think they use sort of a similar style in guarding Steph as opposed to the other guys?
Yeah, I think so. I think the first quarter will tell everything. I think they will try to double him a little bit. Cause like you said, Wiggins is a good offensive scorer, but he's not great. Klay just been like I said in one of your podcasts is he might some days he's the third, some days he's the fourth option. So you don't know what Klay you're gonna get. You know what I mean? So that could also work in the Golden State favor as well. Kerr might be like, you know what? Yeah, I see they're gonna double Steph. Let's get Klay the ball and get K rocking. But yeah, I think they're gonna definitely double team him. I think I can see like Smart. I think they're gonna go a small lineup anyways. I think they're gonna go a small lineup. I think they're gonna put Grant, the other Grant, in there.
Grant Williams.
I think they're gonna put him in there and match up with you guys because I can see he's like a mini Draymond. Like he's out there, he can shoot a couple threes. He's a hustle player. I can see him and Draymond getting into some like scuffles or whatever. I can see that from opening tip. I can see that.
Oh yeah.
Let's see, because who do you got guarding each other?
Well, you put Smart on Steph. You probably put Jaylen Brown probably on Klay. I don't know. Do you put? I would almost think about putting Jaylen Brown on Wiggins because if you put Tatum on Klay, Klay's not he's not going to be a type of guy that gets you into foul trouble.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
you think about that. Then probably Horford goes on Draymond and Robert Williams goes on Looney. And then obviously you talk about the guys. If they go small, here's the thing about Grant Williams, and I know this because I'm a Tennessee fan, so I saw him in college. He was really sort of he played a lot of the four in college. He was a small, small power forward. And so he can play he could be the five in a small lineup for Boston. Well, probably they go with him at the four and probably Horford at the five.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think that's the thing about Boston and how they do match up well with the Warriors is, they kind of do a lot of the same things Golden State does in terms of playing small, in terms of being a great defensive team, moving the basketball. So that's what I think makes it a great matchup. Now, you thought I was crazy on Monday's show when I said Warriors in 5. Now, I didn't say like 5, like they're just going to blow them off the floor. Like, Dallas, for example, it's a different 5-game series.
Listen, 5 is still 5 in my eyes. I don't care if you went by a half a point. Like, I don't care, man. 5 games is just crazy. I think I don't want to give, like I said, we did our episode. I don't want to give too much minds, but I see it going, more than 5 games. Let's just say that.
Okay.
But going back to your point, yeah, I can see Tatum, guarding Clay, like you said, because Tatum do a lot on the offensive side as well. So and Wiggins, as you got to stay with that formula. Like Wiggins been averaging 8 to 10 points in the first quarter. Like you got to stay with that formula and let him, go to work over there. So I can see like Brown, facing Wiggins, and like I said, I think Grant Jr. will face Draymond, and then Looney and Al, and that'll help Boston on the offensive side because that'll bring Looney. He got to guard Al out there. Al, he can shoot them 3. So I definitely love this matchup. Like I said, I had the Heat in 7, but before I picked my pick, I was like, I'd rather see Golden State and Boston. Just more excited, man. And as we're just talking about the matchups and go from there. It's like it's gonna be a great series, man. I'm happy to watch it. I'm a Bulls fan, but definitely gonna be tuned in every night, watching it. You know what I mean, for sure.
Okay, be honest with me. Who you pulling for? Just be honest. You're not asking you to make a prediction, but who you pulling for?
Boston. Pulling for Boston. Pulling for Boston, man.
All right.
Pulling for Boston.
All right, let me get a jet. What's that?
So who you got for MVP though? You got Boston. I mean, you got Golden State in 5, but who you think?
I think Steph wins the MVP. I can't see Golden State winning and Steph not being the MVP. I think he does have to play. I think he does have to elevate his game once again in the finals. And I mean, maybe could Draymond win it if he averages if he averaged a triple double in the finals. Play great defense and Steph wasn't as good, maybe, but I don't know. I think in order to beat this great of a Boston team, I think Steph has to play his best. But sort of my thing about the 5 games was, and I when I was watching Game 7, I'm thinking, okay, this thing's going 6. It might go 7. Boston's late game execution outside of Game 6 against Milwaukee has I mean, that Game 7 against Miami, I'm thinking, if that Jimmy Butler that shot goes in, we're talking about this as one of the all-time playoff collapses, having a 13-point lead with 3.5 minutes left. I mean, taking shots early in the shot clock, obviously you had the offensive foul on Brown. I mean, it was just clunky. It seemed like the moment got a little bit too big for them. And Golden State, this is they've been here before. This is number 6 for them. So I think that factors a little bit in.
Yeah, I didn't like that either. I was I started tuning in the players. Like, Tatum is one of my favorite players to watch. I like since he was younger, like I said, since he came in the league. I ain't like him because he went to Duke, but I like him because he's a good player. But and I was watching him in the corner, and the greats don't do that. What he was doing, he was kind of pushing people away. I don't know if he was tired. I understand, it's better matchups or whatever, but he was kind of tired. Hands on his legs. And kind of like, no, you got it. Like, nah, man, you got to get that ball, man, and go from there. If they foul you, they foul you. If you kick out like Jordan, somebody hit a 3, go right ahead. And he did it a couple times, but it was a few times I was looking at him at the 3-point line. He was just gassed, like he was gassed out there. And like I said, maybe he was tired, but he's definitely he can't do that. He can't do that in this finals for sure because a veteran team, and they're both vets. I mean, I want to get that out the window too because they're both vets. You got to think. They went to the conference finals, you know what I mean? His rookie year, you know what I mean?
Yeah, they did.
And they did all that. They did all that without Kyrie, you know what I mean? And this his 5th year? So they've been to the playoffs.
Yes, this is his 5th year.
They've been to the playoffs, and he got his dunk over Billy and all that. So, and the whole core had been there. And you got to think Al came back. You know what I mean? He was with that core before. He came back. White coming from, the Spurs culture, and his ex-coach, assistant coach from the Spurs, you know what I mean, is their head coach now.
Right.
So, on that aspect, they're both veterans. Like I said, we got one champion, obviously, which is, couple-time champion, the Golden State Warriors. But far as veterans and all that, like, everybody been there. Like, spot ain't too bright for nobody, you know what I mean?
Yeah, although I will say this is the biggest gap, I think, since 1997 with the Bulls and the Jazz in terms of experience. Golden State has a combined 123 finals games. Boston doesn't have one. So you're right about the veteran leadership and all that, but as far as actually being on this stage, it doesn't even compare.
Well, this is your fifth time and sixth time in 10 years? Like
8 years, yeah. Yep.
So come on now.
That's fair. That's fair. No, I'm with you. I get it. Hey, I will say I'll get one Jets question before we get out of here. I saw I think it was Frank Gore and Ryan Fitzpatrick retired today. Two guys who spent some time with the Jets. In my opinion, in this long playoff drought that they've had, Fitz was he your favorite quarterback in this group? Because it feels like he had the most success of the guys in this drought.
As far as Jets quarterback,
just quarterback.
Drought since we've been without the playoff appearance?
Been out the playoffs since, was it 2010 was the last time y'all went?
Yeah. I definitely say Fitzmagic. Like you said, that was the closest year, man. We lose to Buffalo last game, division rivals. We had Brandon Marshall and Eric Decker, and like I said, Fitzmagic was out there, having a career year, and so that was definitely in this drought. Yeah, my favorite Jets quarterback of all time probably be Chad Pennington.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean, definitely. Like I said, he was the longest tenured. He was my I'm like your age right now. That was like my high school and years or whatever like that. You know what I mean? But yeah, as far as this drought, hopefully the drought ends real soon. Not no playoffs this year, but next couple of years, barring injury, any big injuries, and see what Zach Wilson does. We'll see though.
Listen, man, you guys had a heck of a draft, especially the first round. Y'all hit it out of the park there.
Like I said, I love it, man. I love it. Definitely love it. Like I said, especially like you said, this drought, man. This drought been bad, man. This drought been bad. You get all the punchlines from you guys and stuff like that, and we're quarterback killers. Like, come on, man, give us a break.
Sorry,
man. Give us a break, man. Give us a break.
Hey, I'm a truth teller. I got to tell it like it is, my man. Hey, I appreciate you coming on the show once again, my guy. This is gonna be a fun finals. Hopefully, we can have you on sometime, maybe after the series is over, and break it down, the off season and all that. NBA's never short on storylines, so y'all go check out Pham Perspective Podcast. Tell the people they can find you guys.
Yeah, man, you can find us on Instagram at Pham Podcast. Same on Twitter. You can find us on Pham Perspective Podcast on YouTube, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and basically anywhere you can listen to us, man. Definitely follow. Like, subscribe, man. And like I said, give you your flowers too, man. Keep doing your thing with the U.S. presidents. Congratulations on graduating from high school, man, out here.
Yes,
and,
sir.
Like I said, and your Golden State Warriors, man, I know it always feels good, to have your team, definitely winning. But then in the finals, you know what I mean? Yep. Definitely love it. I just felt it with North Carolina, so and you feeling it with Golden State, because I know it gotta feel good. So definitely, I'm room for you for that aspect, but I would like Boston to win, man. I would like Boston.
I feel you. John Rivera on the show once again. Appreciate you coming on, my guy.
No problem.
John Rivera on Carving It Up Live. He's been a big supporter of the show for a long time. He's always in the comments here, so we appreciate him as always. And listen, he makes some great points about Boston. Excuse me, and that their ability to be able to play small. Because if you throw out, they call it the death lineup 3.0. I call it the splash triplets. With Steph, Clay, and Jordan Poole. If they want to go to that lineup now, as well as Kevon Looney's been playing, But what you could do though, in order, I thought about this just now. Robert Williams in the games that he has played, we saw what he did to Bam Adebayo, who's an all-star level player. If Golden State late in these games takes Kevon Looney off the floor, despite how well he's playing, and they go with that lineup of Steph, Poole, Clay, Draymond, Wiggins, Robert Williams is going to be drawn out to the three-point line. So then you would have to go to the small lineup with Horford which Horford's 6'10", 6'11". So you still got, a true center, for the most part on the floor. And then you probably go with depending on who's playing better between Derek White or Marcus Smart, go with one of those guys. And obviously Tatum, Brown, of course. And then you make the decision on probably Grant Williams, coming in. So playing the 4. Again, as a Tennessee fan, I know this. He played the 4 a lot at Tennessee. One SEC Player of the Year twice doing that. So obviously you assume he's not going to have that type of series, knock on wood. But I mean, that's something that I think is really intriguing about this matchup is both teams match up incredibly well with one another. And so that's why I'm picking the Warriors in 5, because the one weakness that Boston has is where Golden State excels. And that's last 5 minutes of the game, last 2 minutes of the game. At home, Golden State still is yet to lose. And so that leads me right into tonight, which is game 1 of the 2022 NBA Finals. This is going to be a fun matchup. Again, I said I think this is going to be a 5-gamer, but let's go ahead and predict game 1 tonight in the Bay Area, in San Francisco, California. The Boston Celtics out of the Eastern Conference, the Golden State Warriors out of the Western Conference. Right now, Vegas likes Golden State just a little bit at home. They had it -4 earlier today. They went back down to -3.5, which is about where it's been since Boston won the Eastern Conference Finals and we got the matchup set. I think this is going to be a kind of a weird game for Golden State in the first half. A week off, you're going to see some rust. Boston played 3 days ago. Golden State played, Boston played 4 days ago, right? Yeah, and Golden State played a week ago. So Golden State's the more well-rested team. So what you usually see in these series is the team that's less rested comes in out the gates ready to go, and certainly a sense of urgency knowing Boston has to win a road game in this series. Golden State doesn't because they got the home court advantage. So Boston's going at the mindset of, we got to win a road game, might as well get it over with right now. Because the mindset they're having is Golden State's rusty, we're not, let's get this thing on. So I could see Boston having like an 8 to 10 point lead at halftime of this basketball game. I could see Steph and Clay getting off to a little bit of a rough start, and guys like Poole, Wiggins, Draymond kind of keeping them in it in terms of scoring. Yes, I think Draymond's going to score in double figures in this series. But I think second half comes around, and then Boston, you're going to see the wear and tear. Golden State, you're going to see, the rest sort of come into play. Again, they've been down multiple times during these playoffs. Heck, they were down by 55 against Memphis in the second round in Game 5 of that series. Just want to forget that one completely, put it out of my memory. But I think rust is going to turn to rest in the second half of the Warriors. It's going to benefit them. And then for Boston, being fresh is going to turn into being a little bit gassed. As John talked about, Tatum's in the corner, hands on his knees, running out of breath a little bit, running out of gas. And so I think you're going to see that a lot in the second half. Golden State's constant ball movement, and we're going to see this throughout the series, is going to wear Boston down, considering they just played a Miami Heat team, which has no ball movement, and it has love Eric Spoelstra, but a horrible half-court offense that they really got to work on this offseason. So with that said, I think tonight I will say Golden State covers the spread. I think they get it on in the second half. I'm going to say they drop 60 or so the second half, and they win this game 111 to 102. 111-102. The Warriors take game 1 of the series and take, of course, a 1-0 lead in the finals. And again, I could see Boston getting out to a hot start in the opening minutes of this game, heck, even the first half. But we know about Steve Kerr, and John talked about Ime Udoka making adjustments, which he has. But Steve Kerr is the king of halftime adjustments. How many times we talk about the Warriors being this great third quarter team with and without KD? Right? We talk about it all the time, like, they're this dominant third quarter team. Steve Kerr has something to do with that, right? Because you're talking about halftime adjustments, getting guys to lock in more of the defensive end if they weren't in the first half. So I think that's going to matter a lot in this series. And so I'm going to take the Warriors, my Golden State Warriors, to win game 1 by final score. Once again, let's put it back up here. 111 to 102 to take game 1 of this series. It's going to be a fun one. There's no question about it. Tonight's going to be fun. The series is going to be fun. Again, I got Steph winning the MVP. John's in the comments here. Appreciate him showing up once again. He says he's got the popcorn emojis and the sort of the googly eyes, like, man, I can't wait for this series. And, watch out for the matchups that we're going to see, as he talked about, as I've talked about in this show. So it's going to be a fun night. Game 1, 2022 NBA Finals. everybody's excited about it. NBA fans are excited about it unless you're a Laker fan. In that case, it's, I'm sorry. It's a lose-lose for you. Everybody else is excited, of course, none more than the fans in Boston, Massachusetts, and all across the Bay Area in California. Even Dub Nation extending down here to Tennessee. Repping. Hold on, but good. Yeah, repping Steph Curry, repping the Golden State Warriors. So, with that said, that is all the time we have for today's show. I appreciate everybody stopping by. As always, big shout out to John Rivera, Pham Perspective Podcast. Go check out their stuff. Like you said, all podcasting platforms. Check them out on social media. Go check their stuff out. Appreciate him joining the show. And hopefully going to have some more guests as the finals go on. And so be sure to catch Carving Up Live tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific time on Facebook Live, YouTube, and on Twitter. Have a great evening, everybody. Enjoy game 1 of the finals. God bless you all. Peace out. Finals, baby. Let's go. Thanks so much for watching the show on YouTube. Be sure to click that big red subscribe button and go check out the other clips and full shows of Carving It Up Live. Have a blessed day.